Hello everyone and welcome to season 2 of the Happiness Journey with Dr. Dan. Now for this season, we will be bringing guests who will share their own path to happiness despite the many difficulties and hurdles they have faced throughout their journey in life. Now we all have a different definition to what happiness means to us, individually speaking. For some, it's a huge mansion by the ocean, while others would prefer excellent health and longevity. Now in this season, my guests will share their journeys on overcoming challenges and managing to keep moving forward despite the odds. Now this show will make you laugh or cry, but most importantly, it will inspire you. Now if they went through tough times and survived, you can too. Now no matter how hard things may seem, there's always something good coming around the corner. Sometimes painful things can teach us lessons that we didn't think we needed to know. Now today, we have special guest, Keasha Lee Ince. Now Keasha had to overcome the loss of her son Gabriel, who succumbed to Patau Syndrome, also called Trisomy 13, which is a condition in which the newborn has an extra chromosome 13. Now most infants in this condition do not live past their first week of life, but Keasha will share with us her journey and how she spent time with her son and the special moments shared with him prior to his departure. Now she's here to share with us how she managed to find peace and serenity through these hard times. Her journey wasn't easy, and hopefully her story will give you the tools to overcome your own struggles in life. Keasha, thank you so much for being here today, and welcome to the Happiness Journey.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Dan.
Now, all of this that happened in 2008, which was the time where Gabriel was born and you had to go through his loss. Tell us more about that.
Well, during that time, I was working as a PR manager for the world's largest credit union. And while that was a good job, I was searching for some ways to express more creativity. That's actually how the concept of striking statements came to be. Well, anyway, I'm working and not quite ready to leave my role, but became pregnant with Gabriel. So I was excited, of course, and felt this would be an opportunity to actually leave my position and focus on striking statements while raising my kids. I had a 5-year-old. My daughter was 5 at the time as well. So I had a wonderful, easy pregnancy. Things went well. I chose to use midwives. So I had a home birth, and that was another new experience that was fantastic. It was just the matter of not knowing the prognosis of Gabriel. As you mentioned, he was born with Trisomy 13. And with that brings a lot of health issues. Each child is different, but one of the commonalities is issues with the heart and eating. So after learning about his prognosis, this was really literally the day he was born, there were a number of things that went through my head. First, why? Why him? What is this? And the fear of what lie ahead. I was told that his long-term survival would be 1 year. So it was really a matter of holding on to family and loved ones for support, really looking at the good things in which I could see. I mean, he was a sweet baby. He was a baby that I was so happy to have. It was along that journey through the 6 months of his life that there were times when obviously my faith and my hope were tested, but I was able to get through that by standing up for myself, for him, because he didn't have a voice. So I became that voice for him. And along the way I got to see, I think it was just having a child with something that people in the medical field had already blacklisted in a way, him as okay, your child has this, so he's only got this long to live, so
don't get your hope up.
Yeah, and what was missing was, hey, none of us really know how long we have on this earth. We like to fool ourselves. We like to believe that tomorrow is promised, but it really isn't. That's an illusion. That's delusion. And so that helped me with, being told constantly, somewhat constantly, that, oh, this is his expiration date. Me saying, but he's wonderful, and I'm going to revel in each beautiful moment that makes up his life, which helped me to really do that for myself as well, and which translates into what I see in helping others to do as well.
I see. Now, when you learned about the prognosis, it was, you said, like at the day of the birth.
Yes.
Did the doctor explain to you what is that extra chromosome? What does it do to the body?
It happened to be a holiday. Gabriel was born on a Memorial Day holiday, and the geneticist was not in. But based on some physical characteristics, the extra digit and a malformed ear, and he actually at home where he was born, he wasn't keeping his body temperature up on his own, and so that was a key for my midwives to make a call. So he was taken in for testing, and I remember a nurse coming out and giving me a sheet of paper that she'd printed from the March of Dimes website that listed what trisomy 13 was, and then all of the scary symptoms and what I can expect. And that was really it. I was told that the results haven't come in, but it looked like this is what he had, trisomy 13. Here you are.
So every day was a blessing with Gabriel to have him, because like I said, they don't live past their first week. So in certain situation, they could live up to a year.
Well, I actually discovered an online community founded by a woman who was a mother of her daughter Natalia, was actually 7 years old at that time with trisomy 13.
Whoa.
So that gave me hope and a sense of belonging, because it was very isolating, and there were no support groups, and I didn't know anybody who'd been affected by this personally. So searching online and finding this community of other families around the country, around the world really, who'd had children with this really helped me to navigate and to look out for the things that parents were dealing with and how they were handling it.
So in this online community, did you notice that the variation of age from each of those kids who were suffering from trisomy 13, you said one was 7 years old, the other one, so it was not really like an expiration date, as the doctor said. I mean, the kid can live much longer.
Yes, and there are rare cases when they do live beyond a few years. And again, there were some who had their babies passed within hours of being born. And then those who lived a year or more. In my case, Gabriel lived for 6 months.
How did you find, beside the online community, wherever did you go to find more support from family, friends? How did it all go?
Well, yes, family was supportive. My mother lived a couple of hours away, so she would come up when she could. My significant other at the time, grappling. It's interesting. We all deal with this trauma and dark experiences in different ways in terms of how we process it. For me, there were times when I felt like, well, there's no matter how often I may talk to my mom or my friends, they really still don't quite understand. They can empathize and sympathize, but they've never stood in my shoes. And that was fine, but I had to sit alone with myself and realize that, okay, Keasha, there's a way you can either go way deep in terms of your despair, or you can look at some of the light in it each day and really just take it day by day. So I also, along with that community, I sought out a local creative writing circle because I have been a writer since I was 9, and that was a way for me to process my feelings or just not even think about that, just to kind of get out of the house and be around others, and that was a way for me to cope as well.
So is this how Striking Statement came to birth?
Well, Striking Statements was already birthed a couple of years earlier. However, it evolved. But the writing aspect, initially it started off with me helping people coordinate their special milestone celebrations and make a striking statement in that way, a striking memory. Today, Striking Statements, I help people still make those striking memories and statements, but in a much, much different way, and it has a lot to do with your message.
And So while you put all this energy into writing, did you write a book about what you were going through with your son, or you intend to write a book about it?
I do intend to write a book. At that time, in 2008, it was the online community I mentioned allowed you to create a blog
Okay.
with updates and talking about challenges, talking about triumphs. And so I did track progress in my life through that avenue. The writing circle actually led me to become involved with the local nonprofit for women called Empowered Women International. And that helped me to get out again, to express myself even more. They accepted a written piece that I did for their We the People project. This was at the beginning of 2009. So it's a matter of things unfolding in a way that you don't realize when it's happening, but then at a certain point you're like, oh, okay, I see how this led to that.
Very interesting. So you feel now that writing and helping your clients with striking statement, do you feel that still those memories when you had Gabriel, do you like bring those kind of tools to be able to help others cope with their situation if they're experiencing something similar?
Yes, you know, there were several things that I realized with my experience with Gabriel. I will say I did not talk about my experience for about 7 years. It wasn't something that I felt pertained or was very relevant as it happened to come to my work with striking statements. Today, with striking statements, I do help brilliant people talk about who they are and make an emotional connection to their audiences through content that captivates. The things that I learned with Gabriel is that, you know, everybody does deserve and desire to be acknowledged, no matter what your past is like or how you show up in the world, whether that be a handicap or in terms of where you're born. And so with that, with me, really, truly, I say I was an advocate for his truth. I am an advocate for my clients' truths as well, to help them really connect with the essence of who they are and the work and their passion that they do for the world.
So if let's say, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's going through the same, I would say, challenges that you did with Gabriel? How will they cope? I mean, you do certain things like striking statement, but how would they cope?
Like you said, everyone's different, but I think it's really important to be okay with doing the best that you can with where you are. You know, there were times I grappled, and of course I cried, and but being able to seek out, you know, people that may be able to relate to you so that you have a safe platform to express your feelings without judgment with people who really do understand where you are. I think that's really important. But the biggest thing would be to just still love yourself and take it easy with your process.
Explain to me how important it is with striking statement to be able to help others and, you know, to find their truth while they actually display their statement.
Well, I find that everybody really wants to be acknowledged and heard accurately. That's the key. I work with people who are doing wonderful things, you know, brilliant entrepreneurs, and they are ready for more impact. However, they find that there's something holding them back, whether it's in terms of the clients they want to attract or really being able to seek out and have better opportunities for their business growth or for their mission or cause. And really that comes down to really knowing who you are and being able to convey that in a way that's understandable. Because when you're misunderstood, it hurts, it's painful. And then when you struggle to find the words and the ways of communicating essentially why you matter to the world, that can be overwhelming and it stifles your impact. So for me, I feel like everyone has a statement to make and it should be striking. So that's how that relates.
Now, what kind of strategy do you use with your clients when it comes to helping them create that message, that striking message, so they could be heard and they could actually display to their clients?
It's going a little deeper in terms of their story and really asking, who are you? Like, I know what you do, but who are you? And why is it that what you're doing now so important to you? There must have been something along your journey in this thing we called life that really put that desire in you for whatever the reason may have been. And why and how do you want people to feel when they are touched by whatever this gift is, this magic that you have? Many times there's a mismatch, and that's obvious. They say, I want to do this thing and I want to show up this way in the world. However, I'm doing this, or actually holding back a little bit on that. So it's just a matter of, through a questionnaire and through conversation, I dig a little deeper and I can pull out certain aspects that I feel is my gift. I say I shine light on your hidden parts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel that the factor of fear is predominant when it comes to people not doing the things that they're meant to do, especially when they're trying to like release a message to the world, but they can't because they're afraid that this message will not be accepted? How do you cope with that, or how do you convince them that, hey, go all out there, just give it your all?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fear is at the root of much of why we hold back, myself included. You know, we all have our fears and things that trigger that. How do I work through that? It's a matter of just conversating and letting them tell me certain parts about their life. You know, asking the questions about, there's always something that maybe they were misunderstood. There are things that many times we forget. And this is the thing, and this is how it ties back to Gabriel, is that the world will tell us if you're different, if you're too much of this or not enough of that, then you're wrong. And you're not. You're right. You're right just the way you are. It's just a matter of accepting that and being able to convey and to utilize that uniqueness, also known as wrong, but really it's right. It's the beauty in it. But it's how we have been taught, what we have picked up to believe that. And so people may not consciously even be aware that they still believe something that a family member told them, or that an old work environment or work culture taught them or showed them that wasn't true. So it's just a matter of going through some of the stories and me kind of pinpointing those areas where they may have given me a little bit of a message, not knowingly, but I go deeper on that. Oh, tell me more about that aspect.
Interesting. Actually, there's a song from Bruno Mars, "The Perfect Just the Way You Are." So it's interesting that you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
So it's, well, I mean, overall, when you take this approach when it comes to telling people to do or to feel right for the message that they convey, do you have any other way that if, let's say, one thing doesn't work, what other approach that you feel will suit the client better? Do you have like a list of, or checklist of things that you say, well, if that didn't work, I'll go to the next one, and the next, and the next. How do you go with that?
Well, it's very interesting. People come to me in a variety of ways in terms of how they want their messaging, what kind of work. It could show up as, hey, I wrote a sales page. Can you please take a look at it to make sure I'm really conveying things the right way? Could you take a look? Or, oh my gosh, I need a tagline.
Okay.
You know, I have a business, I'm either revamping the business or just really pursuing this full time, and I need something that's striking. Or it could even show up as, can you do my about page on my website? I need a whole, actually, a about page and services page revamp. Can you help me with that? So each of these, and it varies in terms of what people desire to have a striking statement for, but it all leads back into the essence, remembering the essence of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to convey, essentially. So I don't have a checklist.
Okay.
It's a very interesting, and this is what makes it so fun for me, because I get to work with some amazing people with all sorts of different backgrounds, different levels of success. I mean, they're doing incredible things, but they still have that, ooh, but could you, am I doing this? I need this honed a bit. And so it really comes down to that particular person's personality and what they came to me for.
So can we comfortably call you the branding queen?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, good. Good to know. Now, based on the energy that you have, I mean, obviously, a lot of people are telling you, how do you stay positive? I mean, as you know, the laws of attraction, it's like thoughts become things. If you're negative, you're going to bring negative. If you're positive, you're going to bring positive. The only issue that a lot of people see is that, well, if I sit down on the couch and just thinking about having a Ferrari in my garage, That's thinking positive. But if they don't believe in themselves and take action, nothing will happen. So how do you personally, or what approach do you use to stay positive?
Good question. I write in my journal. I have a journal I called my magic book, where sometimes it's about the day, other times it's about how I want things to be. And it really does come down to really believing, having the belief. And for me, to help me with believing, I have an intention to do more speaking engagements. And, as your goals and what you want, your vision expands, it really helps to remind yourself of what you've done in the past that has worked out well. Because many times that voice will creep in, well, Keasha, I don't know if you can do this. But helping yourself by remembering the great things, no matter how small, really helps to activate that. Yes, if I did it then, I can do it in this way. I'm a different person now. And that's another thing as well, to really recognize that you're not the same as you were yesterday. We are always evolving, and with each experience that we can learn from and inject some wisdom, actually the experience injects us with wisdom, we can go on to do things differently in a better, more effective way for ourselves. So.
Beautiful. Now, if let's say I would tell you that if you had the opportunity to talk to your old self in 2008, what would be the advice you would give?
I would tell Keasha, who was really in a dire situation, that things will be okay. Like it never feels that way when you're in it. It's a matter of allowing yourself some space, taking the time to yourself, crying for however long you need to, but knowing that it's a temporary state of being, and that each day is a unique day. It's not promised, but doing the best that you can with each day that you have to feel a little better, because only you can make yourself feel better.
That's interesting. And based on the past self, as you said, we are not the same person as we were like 8, 10, 15 years ago. How do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Well, evolving, that is, the same way as you evolved 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I see myself really with more sense of freedom and understanding what that entails. What I do know is that for more freedom, that's freedom from self and our mindset traps, I call them, because it is always a work in progress. The things that really we impose on ourselves with the beliefs, the fear. Fear is just, it can protect you in certain scenarios. If there's a bear coming, okay, you should run.
Yes.
Maybe,
you should
I
run.
don't know if you
well, no,
should
in
run.
some cases, not
yeah,
really.
maybe not. Make a little noise, whatever that may be. But fear has its purpose, but fear too many times keeps people complacent, and that's not living. That's not freedom. For me, freedom and what I want to be doing in 10 years is continually growing and pushing myself to reach new heights and to have more impact in the world. And I know that's going to come with its own little sets of challenges that I'm going to have to give myself a pep talk through.
Yes.
But that's who I have. That's who I have. I have me. I have my connection to God, the universe, and I think that's enough to get me on my way, of course, as well as the love of my husband and my family.
Absolutely.
But it really comes down to me walking that path.
I think having the faith in yourself, the belief that you could actually accomplish anything and everything you want in life, and knowing and understanding that, I would say diminishes the fear and allows you to be able to go and do things that you never ever imagined. And that's what I would say. I mean, you know what the acronym FEAR is. False expectation appearing real, and it's only created by your own mind, the subconscious mind. But if you start accepting that you could do everything you want in life, and you could ask the universe for anything you want, I think that kind of help people know that, you know what, if I jump off that cliff, my parachute will open. I might hurt myself in the corners here and there, but I know that I will get to destination. And that's what a lot of people fear, and that's what stops them from doing what they want to do. Now, based on that, what is your motivational factor?
My motivational factor is just knowing I can do more. So saying, okay, you really want these desires, as you said, Keasha, you want to write a book. You would love to do TV appearances. Hello.
Here you go.
You want to work with people from around the world. I'm getting there. Because of what I do, I can work from anywhere. Content creation and messaging and
Sure.
this kind of branding coaching can be done from anywhere. It's just a matter of really wanting to impact and to be real, to show people, hey, I'm living my life in this way, being a genuine person. You can do the same for whatever that desire is in your life. I want to live by example and to show people that they can live the life of their dreams and their desires.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Now, I want to thank Keasha Lee Ince for her time today and sharing her very emotional story with all of us. Now, thank you very much for coming to the studio. Now, we hope you have all enjoyed today's episode. Now, I'm very excited about our future episode of the Happiness Journey, filled with inspirational stories. Now, here are a few concluding words of wisdom. When someone you love dies, you never get over it. You just slowly get through each day, but you always keep them tucked safely in your heart. Death is the end of the physical body, but not the end of the kind soul. My name is Dr. Dan Amzalag, and have yourself a blessed day.